Huffmon with Straight Talk about management, and today I'm going to talk about getting organized isn't difficult, tip 2. I used to teach time management for a lot of years, and one of the things that people used to ask me all the time was, when do I do certain tasks? So I developed this program called a time management meal, and I'm going to talk to you about that today. First of all, you need to understand, what kind of person are you? Are you a morning person? I mean, you get up early in the morning, you can't wait to get going, you are excited about the day, you're singing, you don't even need that jolt of coffee in the morning. You're a morning person. You do your best work in the morning. That's the important thing to know. You also need to know if you're not a morning person. Are you the kind of person that takes you a couple hours before you really wake up good? Then you're probably more like an afternoon person. So I'm going to talk to you about that and how that factors into the things you need to do during the day. The time management meal consists of this. Let's assume that every meal has 3 elements. You have vegetables, you have meat, and you have dessert. That's considered a complete meal for this purpose. Well, let's think about what vegetables are. Usually, they're the things that we don't care for very much. We do everything we can think about to try and get those vegetables down. We cover them in cheese, we smother them in butter, do all of these things just because we know we need vegetables. They're not necessarily our favorite part of the meal, but we know that we need them. We know they're important for our nourishment, for our body, so that's why we force these things down that most people don't really particularly like very much. Those are kind of the same thing when you think about the time management meal. The vegetable task is what I call them. They are those tasks that aren't necessarily your favorite tasks. They're necessary, though, for you to be able to maintain your work, to be able to stay on track. They might be doing a scheduling or a report that you have to do on a regular basis just to make sure that you're on task, or you're on budget, or you're on schedule, those kind of things. Those things are very important for you to do, but they're not necessarily our favorite things to do. These vegetable tasks need to be done at a particular time of the day. If you are a morning person, you do your best work in the morning. But that means that is when your critical thinking process is at its top. It is at the very best. You don't want to spend that high quality brain energy on simple routine tasks that you could do any other time. You want to be doing your most important work when your brain is at its best. So your routine tasks are probably things that you're going to do in the afternoon for those morning people. During the time when you're probably going out looking for that candy bar, or you're going out to look for a soda or some sugary drink to help you get through the rest of the afternoon, that's about the time you want to do these routine tasks, because you don't have to be at your best to do routine tasks. They're routine. You could do it probably in your sleep. That's the time you want to do that. For the other people, those of you who are not morning people, you come in the morning, oh my gosh, what am I going to do for the rest of the day? You're just barely getting there. You're barely awake even. You can do your routine tasks in the morning, because that is the best time for you. By the time you finish those routine tasks, you're ready to work. You're excited about now all the other things you have to do for the day. That's when you do your routine tasks the first thing in the morning. Now, the meat of a meal takes up the majority of the plate normally, and it is the most important part of our nourishment. Even for the vegetarians, they have to have some kind of meat substitute, because we need that. Our bodies require that. And so we have to have that protein in order for our survival. Your meat tasks in the time management meal are the most important task you have to do to keep your job, to make sure the company is okay. The company needs you to do that work. That's why they hired you. It's because of those skills and that expertise that you possess. That's why you were hired. That's why they want you to do that most important work. Those are your meat tasks. And those things, you really need to be at your tip top, at your very best, in order to be able to think critically well and solve problems and handle all those really difficult projects. So for the morning people, again, if you're a morning person, you are at your very best when you walk into the office. You want to do your meat task in the morning. That's the best time for you to be able to control everything, think well, make great decisions. That's best best for you. For those of you who are not so much a morning person, you're probably going to do it a little bit late in the morning. You want to be at your very best when your company needs you to make very important decisions. You want to be completely awake, completely alert, and at your best. So you might want to do it a little bit later in the afternoon, in the morning, I should say. Maybe somewhere around 9 o'clock in the morning, after you've been there a little while, you've done your routine task. That's when you want to do your very most important work. Now, dessert. Dessert is usually the very favorite part of the meal. Most people, when you're at a table and you're in a group, most people get a few different desserts. Everybody gets a spoon and digs in. It's everything everyone's looking for. Everyone's excited about the dessert. And those kind of things is what we live for, the things that we really, really love. And so your dessert tasks are those tasks that you really enjoy. For most people, unfortunately, those tasks don't take up the majority of our job. They're just a small part of the greater picture of what we need to do at work. So you want to save your dessert task for the end. Just like we save for the end of the meal, you want to save your dessert task for the end of the day. And there's a couple reasons for that. If you save your very favorite task for the end of the day, it gives you a pick-me-up for getting you through the rest of the very end of the day. Most people by the end, morning people and non-morning people, are pretty much, their energy's waning by the end of the day. So you want to make sure you just basically take all your energy all the way to the end of the day so that you can do your most effective work. When you're doing something you really love, you get a burst of energy, you're excited, and that will actually propel you all the way to the time to go home. Also, if you started your day out with dessert tasks, something you really love to do, you might end up spending way too much time on that and never get to those really extremely important meat tasks that must be done, or those routine tasks, those vegetable tasks that need to be done. So you want to save these tasks for the end of the day. If it's something creative because you have a very analytical job but you like doing something creative, save that for the end of the day. If it's something more analytical, you don't get to do very much, save that for the end of the day. Whatever it is, your most important work, the thing that's really so fun that you love, save it for the end of the day. That's the best time for you.